Ready. Got both of them. Oh, we're ready. We're ready. Let's go. We're heading over here, guys. Got some folks over here outside this Tesla dealership. There's some Ukrainian flags put up. Just gonna go check this one out here. Welcome back, welcome back. Don't have comments, but these people are gonna be triggered. Got the nice Tesla Cybertruck out here. Let's see, yeah, thank you, Elon. If you look over here behind the Cybertrucks on this frontage road here, there's some Ukrainian flags. And you got, I voted for Doge. Doge, thank you, Elon. Not that big of a crowd out today. We got a boycott Tesla sign out here. How y'all doing? Hanging in there, enjoying this weather.
Where are you from?
I'm actually from Fresno. So, got all this 25th Amendment now. Truth, facts, integrity, kindness, empathy, corruption, lies, cruelty, boycott Tesla. Use your courage to resist and rise. How you guys doing?
No hard feelings.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Who are you filming for other than yourself?
What's that?
Who are you filming for other than yourself?
Just myself.
You want to have a video of people protesting Elon Musk?
Well, yeah, it is kind of the thing that's going around right now, right? It's newsworthy, in my opinion. I mean, that's why you guys are out here, right? You guys want to be seen.
Well, we want to
Because
protest.
this is what we need to do, whether somebody's looking or not.
Yeah, but I mean, the point of protest is to get other people to hear your frustrations and.
No, it's not frustration. It's really a sense of just our civic duty. We're patriots, and we don't mean any disrespect. But you know what's interesting? If this was turned around and we were a whole bunch of MAGA and I was by myself, I might not feel as comfortable as you can be right now with us.
I beg to differ. I was in Dublin 3 weeks ago at their Tesla protest. I was assaulted 3 times. This is what I do for a living.
Assaulted 3 times.
3 times.
By
Why do you do this for a living?
I cover everything. This is what I do. I'm an independent journalist.
Why do you wear that outfit?
So how am I? Hold on.
47 independent, whatever you have.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the difference between the group. I mean, when we look at CNN, would they be very independent? I don't think so.
Where were you? So I would like to. Was it on the news? Was there anything that showed you being, or do you know which event it was? Because
Yeah, it was the Dublin Take Down Tesla protest 4 weeks ago.
Okay. So and you think it might be there might be something available that.
all your clicks on your
This poor guy over here.
Well-
We'll just ignore him for a second. He's triggered. No, I'm just saying. I've been to a lot of protests. I've been.
Because that's the crap.
I go to anything that's kind of where I feel the mainstream media is not there showing maybe what I might view from my perspective.
Yeah.
So when Portland was going on, when it was the Summer of Love, I was in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I've covered a lot of that because from my perspective, what I was seeing on the news wasn't being quite truthful. So I don't edit any of my videos.
J6?
Yeah, I covered J6.
What did you think about that?
I was surprised that officers were opening up doors to the Capitol, actually.
Come on, what about
No,
getting
but
beat up?
did you actually see someone or see an officer opening a door?
Yes, between me and my colleagues that were up there in J6, there was a lot of video that went around, and that's part of my issue. Okay, so not to say everybody there was doing, but was saints. I'm not saying that, but why did some things not add up? Why was some doors opened? You know, a lot of questions that you'd never seen on CNN or MSNBC or Fox News.
But you don't see that on any of the independent private videos either.
Oh, yes, you do.
Is there some way could you direct me to something so that I would be able to
If
see
I
that?
give you my email address,
Yes.
will you email me?
I-
Okay, before I leave, I will give you one of my cards and I will send you that. Yeah.
And is your site on that?
All the
Yeah, all my stuff will be on
And you know,
there.
that's not my.
Yeah, as soon as I got it in the car and I'll give it to you.
Not in your pocket?
No, not in my
Then why
pocket.
have Ephesians 6:11 there?
Because I believe in God. I believe I'm pro-life. I don't believe in murdering
I
babies.
would suggest you stay on the sidewalk just before the police come. So that's the only thing that stops it. Lets us get away with being here is that we stay on the sidewalk.
Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you. So one thing you can notice here, is out there, if you look along the freeway, there's the Ukrainian flags. That's out here in this. So you get that out here. I didn't read what this one said. I don't know if we can see it really quick. Let's see what it says on that side. Yeah, see these people, only one guy can have a regular conversation. The rest are triggered. I'm not taking down their signs. I'm not. Tesla funds hate is what's out here. And then you got thank you Elon, I voted for Doge. Again, I don't come up acting like I'm a threat to anybody. That's not what it's out here. It's interesting. I am going to give that guy my card, and I am going to show him what the videos that we've all seen 1,000 times. But again, and this is what we're talking about when we're talking about the media, that person has probably never seen the officers remove barriers, the officers open doors, none of that. I will send him a whole bunch of information. Whether he'll change his mind or not, I don't know. But you have a Land Rover dealership, Jaguar, and Tesla right here.
Bag it.
Eating from within, huh? Hands off the VA. As you guys remember, last time when Trump's first term, he actually did a lot of good things for the VA. What's up, sir? Just having some conversations out here. So, getting some horn honks out here. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So like,
Take a picture with us?
yeah, absolutely.
And just so that the purpose would be just to have we had a good conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's about. We used to be able to do that back in the day. I'm gonna set this right here really quick, guys.
And there won't be any bullshit caption.
I don't care. I don't care.
You know, I hope we can do this one of these days outside of this.
Oh yeah, no. I was actually in Bakersfield, California when Bernie and AOC came down. I disagree with them 100%, but me and this guy had the most epic conversation. He told me why he was out there. He was worried about Medicaid. His brother was disabled. I explained that my sister's disabled. And it was just like, it was probably one of the deepest conversations I've had in a protest for over a year.
Yeah, and you know, that gets distorted and divided by one person, not necessarily that person, by one person who's decided that I'm the only voice that really is going to be heard. And it's, you know, hopefully there's got to be some dialogue.
Yeah, no, I agree. It doesn't matter. I mean, again, we're not going to move forward completely divided. There's things that I will never stand for, which is just like you have a line. But we can always communicate, educate each other. You know, there's some things I've changed my stance on as a Republican. As a Republican, I grew up pro-war. That's what Republican Party used to stand for. I remember growing up going to the firing range of people that were against the United States, and now it's like, once I've educated myself, we shouldn't be in any war, we shouldn't be funding anything.
You said a couple of key points. One is education and our education system. How do you feel about the threats against universities?
Well, here's my issue with universities is I've gone to a lot of college campuses, and again, we have, to me, a sense of education that wants to make America look bad compared to when I was growing up. When I was growing up, you know what teachers told me?
Well, I'm a teacher, so
Okay, so teachers told me you could be anything you want. The color of your skin don't matter. Where your background don't matter. What matters is the work and effort you put into it. Now I have 3 children.
that's a tough one.
Well, I'm just telling you, that's how we were raised. And guess what? You know, the people I went to school with, it doesn't matter whether they're black, Hispanic, it doesn't matter. They're very successful today, and they love this country, and they put in, they pay their share. But when I look at what I hear today, and I was at a school board meeting in Chino Hills on Monday night, and what I am seeing, and even when teachers speak, is, for example, I have a daughter, or my son. If my son goes to school and he's having a mental health crisis, and he thinks he's a different gender, that God made him incorrectly somehow, and they want to keep that secret away from me, to me, that is child abuse.
That's a pretty narrow example.
But it happens, and it happens a lot in California.
That someone has said that God is suggesting this.
Not
or-
God, I'm telling you, God. So I'm a Christian. I believe God created us, and so what gives you? But I'm not saying you do this. But what gives you a right as a teacher to sit there and give my son or daughter some information on different clinics, different things, and that happens in California. And so I have that issue. And then when you have, and I won't say it's everybody in a party, but when you have the main platform of the Democratic Party, especially here in California, you have AG Rob Bonta, the Attorney General, who have sued Chino Hills and multiple other schools that said what Democrats call a forced outing policy. No, you know what? That's my child's mental health. The child is not the ward of the state.
Is
Yeah,
that something
I-
that a rabbit hole to go down? But you started mocking us. That was your initial introduction here.
How was I mocking
I don't
you?
hear
You were. And next time, perhaps cool it, because it sounds to me like you have some good information that you would like to hear. But
how
you
did-
were mocking. I heard that tone. If you look at you go home and you look at and you were mocking us.
Well,
I don't
And
know.
that's an attitude.
I didn't hear
that,
anything.
you know,
Yeah.
you will do better. We can hear your message better if you start off not mocking.
If you can give me one example of me mocking, I would love to
you
hear
were
it.
reading our signs with that snotty attitude.
I was reading everything that goes across your sign. I read your sign. That's
You
it.
were reading all our signs, and it was a mocking
See, I think there's
attitude.
just some people that will never, like you are one of those people that will never be happy with anybody than
No,
people that that
the only
agree
reason
with you.
the reason I'm telling you is because you're having a really good conversation. That should have
That
been
you're
your
interrupting.
first.
That you're
That's your
interrupting.
first. You know, so that would have been the way to start.
Maybe-
I don't know why you
maybe
did
we
it this
could-
way.
I must say, me personally, I don't feel that this gentleman has said anything impolite to me or anything inappropriate. I too don't agree with, a lot of stuff, but I don't feel that I've been insulted or mocked. And that's not to take
Okay,
sides.
that's
But
good.
and I have to stand here and tell the truth, and
Yeah,
I don't think that you have.
Now, what's your concern on the colleges? Now, so my question is, to me, I'm just plain and simple. It's
The
black
concern.
and white.
You know what this is?
Yes.
Okay. So there are people who have made commentary, legitimate comments about the genocide. And if you're against genocide, that doesn't automatically mean that you're and anti-Semitic may not even be the exact term anyway, but anti-Israeli, anti-Zion, anti-Semitic. I can say anything pretty much that I want to say at a college campus or here. I have my freedom of speech. And to create an actual policy to try and force the university to change its policies so that if someone says a certain something, you're out of here. That's antithetical to education in the first place. PragerU.
Yes.
face of PragerU to question Christianity, but nevertheless, a public place or a public school, even if it's a private college, there's freedom of speech for everyone. There's freedom of speech and constitutional rights for an illegal immigrant who might be standing right here. So when you can't give a legitimate criticism about something, or even just an opinion about something, and have it be misconstrued, and the person who's got the authority to, or believes that they have the authority to do so, to just say, "You're out of here," that's very unreasonable.
Okay, now, when you're saying that you're out of here, are you talking about the funding for the universities or the deportation, the visas?
The person being deprived of their constitutional and civic rights, or civil rights, the school being threatened, and it even bothers me more that they're being threatened and publicly. Hey, if you don't do this, I'm going to withhold your funding. What would happen if anybody tried to curtail Trump's free speech? And never mind what he says is
Well,
true or not true.
with justification, they did. They kicked him off Facebook, Twitter. They
Has
did.
he but what is the consequence for him saying anything and everything he wants to say?
They can decide what they want to be on. So
Yes and no. Not when the FBI has the paperwork came out that the FBI, Chan out of San Francisco, worked with Twitter
no, I don't know
to.
about that.
Wait, let's stay with my. Can we just stay?
Yeah. So I guess my question is
But your response to.
Yes. So my thing on that. So let's go with the visas. Revoking visas is part of that.
No, being able to speak at school.
I believe you should be able to say whatever you want at school, as long as it's not threatening or anything like that.
So we're in accord with that.
Yes, no, absolutely. But when I think we have an issue where the United States has done a lot. Some of these colleges has over 50% of those people foreign students that come over from another country, and they get their education here in the United States. My issue with that is I've been to other countries. I promise you I will not go into Mexico and protest the Mexican government if they give me the ability and are kindly enough to allow me to go into their country.
Just to be clear, I was talking about the freedom of speech here, and you're talking
100% freedom of speech.
But now you've introduced just the fact that foreign students are coming here. Are you opposed to foreign students coming here?
I think the vetting needs to be done much better. I think like a lot of things with our country, I actually spent 5 months on the border in Biden's term, literally camped out on our border. So I got to see what they said a closed border was versus what my camera saw.
But our university students are not coming from the people that are stuck in the
No,
border.
but I look at the country as kind of my house, right? Like I want to know who's coming in my house, and I'm going to make sure they're properly vetted when they're coming in here. If you don't like my country, I don't think, and you want to work against the United States of America, I don't think you should be here in the country getting an
So
education.
that would be, well, not just getting an education, but that could be many members of the Republican Party that are now working, my Social Security, my health care. I mean, those are things that are at risk. I mean, you would agree.
I don't agree. I don't agree that Dr. Oz just got.
Oh, Lord.
No, I'm just saying though. I'm just saying. See, we can disagree.
Okay.
You can
I don't mean to be.
Can you show me anywhere in the bills that Democrats are screaming they're cutting your Social Security? Can you show me in the bills where it says
I don't
that?
happen to have one of those. I mean, I'm not trying to. No.
You can look them up on your phone. You can pull up the bill and read it. And I do that because I hear the fake news say, "Hey, they're cutting everything," but there's no proof of it.
But wait. Here's what is happening. The phone service is being changed. So that's a nice way of putting it. They're closing some field offices because they've got so many employees. So one of the greatest risks, especially to older people, is being able to access someone to talk about their account. There have been interruptions in Social Security, and Trump has arbitrarily declared X number of people as dead, meaning they're not in the Social Security rolls anymore, even though they're alive and they are taxpayers.
Now, you said Trump did that. Did you know, if you go back and look at historical history, that was actually common for the last 40 years for them to have hiccups
But it
in
has
there.
oh, you're right. That's
And so when they try to find somebody, and that's what we focus on, is this one person that didn't get Social Security. But here's my problem. Can you name one thing in our government that you feel is efficient? So I come from a manufacturing background. I had 22
Yes, I
years in
can.
the supply chain. What?
So far, my free speech.
But but again, the Constitution
I get my
limits the
Social
government, so the
Security.
government should be out of free speech.
I get my Social Security every month. Every month without fail. I have health care.
Okay.
I'm
I like
Mexican.
our libraries. I like our police
And
forces.
our
They're generally
schools.
very good.
Okay.
I like
Now, then the reason why I want to say that is so I
like
occasionally
Medicare.
have to
I
go
have
into
Medicare.
DMV. And when I have to go into DMV, if I go
Well,
online,
DMV is like a
I just
Fellini
renewed my
movie.
license.
No.
It was wonderful. They were fast, efficient, and I had no.
so what you're saying now, and I just want to get this. So you're saying that the Social Security, you know that the Social
So
Security
far-
Administration, no, listen,
Yes.
is not bloated. That they are 100% running lean because that's our tax dollars.
Those are two different things. You're talking about efficiency. I don't know how you measure efficiency, but if efficiency is to get whatever the objective done, despite whatever's going on, despite graft, corruption, bloat, McDonald's is not always efficient. You get a BMW.
No, but
There-
if you put
there's
the
problems with
government,
everything.
if you put the government in charge of McDonald's, it would go bankrupt.
No,
That's
if you
not
put,
true.
no, if you put the government
How
in
can you
charge.
say that?
No, wait.
How can you actually say that?
Look at the money we spend. We don't
The
have.
government is not a business. It's not a profit.
That's
and
correct.
loss.
It is not
It's
a business.
Not a business. It gives
You know why?
services.
Because it doesn't make money. It takes money. And what we have here is we have a group of people that say we're not taking enough, and we have a group of people that say, "Hey, we're spending too much." That's the bottom line.
Government is inextricably woven with business, and without business, or with especially damaging business, among other things, you lose your tax revenue. If you give a lot
California is a prime
of tax,
example.
but just in general, if you give a lot of tax cuts, and you remember the last tax or the last budget deficit, the last budget trouble, you can't keep giving tax cuts without doing something to cover that revenue. And our fear is that if that tax revenue, if it's orchestrated that way via tax cuts, then there'll be another crisis. And what invariably happens when that takes place, we have to cut programs. So there's some things that, for sure need to be cut. But
Well, I think there's
lay-
a lot of people. I think there's a lot of people on these programs that need to be off. If you're a 29-year-old playing
Absolutely.
video games at home, I don't want you on Medicare.
But some billionaire who has not paid the amount of tax proportionate to what they're taking in, I think that would be great. If Elon Musk paid proportionate to his income into Social Security, we would never have enough. We would never have a shortage.
So
They have to limit
he pays his maximum in Social Security.
He does. He absolutely
What
does.
is the
And-
maximum?
and-
250?
It's not even. It's not even.
175?
Not even that. In thousands. Yeah, it's very small. But
It's
you're correct. He absolutely does.
And then sometimes I sit here and I look at, again, not you guys, but in politics in general, I'm against a lot of Republicans. I'm against a lot of Democrats. But every time the opposing power gets in, so Trump wins the election, and now we're bringing up everything that could have done when Democrats had the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and nothing was done.
Do you remember Mitch McConnell's first words when Obama became president? Our job is to keep him to one term, and no matter what Obama wanted to do, it was blocked at every turn. Look at how they're voting now.
Well, no,
I have to go, but I will
Well,
give
I
a
mean,
small
yeah.
apology. I'm really impressed that you're able to talk and willing to talk. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
You have a good day. You have a
Bye-bye.
good day. I just look at it like a lot of things get, and again, like I said, just from what I've looked at, some of the people I talk to, even people that hate politics, but they're really smart in
Yeah, I'm not
finances.
that crazy about it.
Well, it's kind of my life since I do this, but if they're, like I said, I had that gentleman I had to talk with in Bakersfield. I have a disabled sister too. Guess what? She is deaf and blind. So you can imagine how much help she needs and things. So I don't want her to lose that. My mom passed away last year, which would have been her number one caregiver, right? It would have to fall on somebody else. She couldn't live without Social Security. I don't want any of that to go away. But again, I feel like seeing the system and the way we have, I think the system has been abused in such a way where it's almost like they want you to be dependent on the government.
I'm not. I can't disagree because I don't know that I know enough about that. But perhaps maybe to add to that, how the changes are being made, how they are approaching reducing costs, to just fire people. I mean, how many of these people that they have fired by the thousands have a mortgage, might have a mom, the sister caregiver, might be in exactly the financial situation, just put their kids into school, just finished moving. I mean, I don't know that that's facing everybody, but you got to admit there's got to be somebody's having a tough time with it.
In my job, one of the things I've done is I've been brought into companies to do exactly that. Listen, we can't run. We are fat everywhere. We need to cut. We're going to lose 300 employees, or we need to lose 100. What would be better for our company? And our government is going bankrupt.
So you follow a plan, don't you? You follow when you're called in to consult. You follow a process. You do some sort of a review, a performance review, salary, how long they've.
Yeah, well, you know what we actually do is exactly what our government did. Is any probationary employee is gone immediately.
But also any DEI.
Well,
And
again,
I'm a person of color, and
I hear this argument a lot.
It's not an argument. I'm just saying to just do this broad sweep aside of DEI, and I'm not even going to begin to talk about the plane crash and assigning that to a DEI traffic controller. For Pete's sake, I mean, would you agree with?
No, but I think the American people, they.
Well,
when we look at certain things and we see that Biden's last administration, in my opinion, is a DEI administration. When you have the Health and Human Services, a man pretending to be a woman, and they are telling me to trust the science.
no, there's not pretending.
He is. You cannot change your sex.
Well, wait.
Your DNA will never change.
But pretending sounds like an intention.
So
Change is so.
Woman face, wearing woman face.
Okay. Are you able to get past that and look at the person's intellectual capability?
If
their
they have an
experience?
intellectual, so again, I'm all about merit. That person would have never been picked if it wasn't for
why get rid
DEI.
of DEI then?
Because
that's the
DEI
whole
is the
purpose.
opposite of merit.
It is not. No, it's not. It's giving someone the opportunity. If you don't, I mean, listen, did you play football?
No.
Okay, well, I didn't either. But I was just, so I wasn't trying to be.
No, I did. I just did.
But you just, you get in, you sign up, you're given an opportunity. I mean, for whatever reason, economic, ethnic, whatever the reasons are. But if you don't cut it, if you don't perform, and hopefully there's some oversight as to your performance, then you don't get to stay.
I am with you 100%.
But not every, there's dead wood, no matter what your melanin is. But to generalize, DEI is not a good thing because these people don't work. They don't have the same standards.
Can I say something? DEI does not mean that if you have two candidates, one is black and one is white, you pick the black candidate, regardless of their merit or their intellect or what they can do for you.
You want diversity.
You want
But
diversity.
I don't think.
So
But see,
listen.
why do you want diversity? I mean, diversity should come naturally. If you're
Yes,
ready
it
for
comes naturally, but you have to show that black person or that brown person. You have to say, okay, we have a candidate that's equally qualified like this candidate. Oh, well, I'm a Harvard graduate. This candidate's from Harvard. I want him. Okay?
When I was a teacher,
They don't want you to just pick somebody because of their race. They want those person to be in the mix.
Yeah,
To say they are equally qualified. Let's give them a chance.
and I'm.
Let's see,
They're not.
let's just
You're
say-
misunderstanding DEI.
I'm not, because I'm just going to tell you how many times, I don't know if you look into this stuff, how many times has large corporations like Coca-Cola or Pepsi excluded white people?
How do you know that?
Because it got exposed. They admit it. They had to pay us. They have to pay a settlement. Pepsi, Coke, all these places.
But
The New York Fire Department.
You know, that-
the New York Fire Department.
Does that mean that people were not qualified?
That's right, and that's
Not
Are they
as qualified. Not
How
as
do you
qualified.
know that? You're saying things
They
that
lost in court.
well,
I'm talking about individual people. I'm not
Yeah, the
talking
court
about-
may not say that this person can lift 150 pounds or not. They're basing it on presumably their color, that social construct, or possibly a quota. And a quota is pretty legit. Well, do you feel that quotas might be legitimate?
Not really. Not really.
There's
Again,
some legitimacy to it. I mean, in terms of being represented, in terms of
so I don't think it's an employer's job. I don't think it's anybody's job to represent a race or anything else. Again, if we can go to 100% merit standards, and listen, and I've been in city council meetings where guess what they say? Well, we need more black officers. They don't say we need more competent officers. They say we need more black officers.
could it be that competent is the assumption? In other words, nobody's going to get on the force unless they meet a certain standard, right? Do you own a home?
Yes.
Did you have any trouble buying your house?
Yeah.
I don't mean financially. I mean,
Yeah, it was a nightmare when I bought my home.
were you ever told, really, in so many words, it might be better if you weren't in this neighborhood?
No.
You're standing in the middle of one of the capitals of that. In Marin, our history is there have been actually areas that have assured people in the 40s and the 50s, we can assure you that there will be no Asiatics, that was the term used, and no Negroes. We've made a lot of progress.
Absolutely.
But there are people who, even today, face the same obstacles when trying to vote, when trying to buy a home, when trying to get into a school.
So there's a good example. We could go voting. So I went down the streets in Oakland. I went to many towns and asked all black people, are you able to get an ID? And they say, yeah, I have one in my back pocket. What do you think of the, and I always use this term, the white liberal who says it's racist to ask you to show a ID when you're voting? And they said, I think that's
Wait,
racist.
I didn't know that was racist to show an ID.
That's what the Democrat Party, the
We show it.
platform.
I mean,
No, I get it. I get it, and that's what I think it should be. But if you look right now, the leaders between Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, they say that is racism. You're trying to silence the voter. You're trying to take away their vote by saying we need a voter ID law.
But is there? I think it's more nuanced than that. When you close, when you close a poll, or you know that in Georgia, Kemp had said it is a felony to give someone who's waiting in line to vote water, and that was a directive from Kemp. I mean, I don't
See,
know.
I'm a little old school, so like I said,
But these are things that it's very nuanced. To require a passport to me sounds pretty reasonable. We have a passport.
and I agree, and that's why
But
there's things we
but-
could probably agree on, and there's other things that we'll probably never agree on.
But can we flex somehow for someone in Mississippi who's at the poverty level, who wants to vote, who cannot afford the $160 for a passport, who's probably never? I mean, those circumstances exist. It's easy for me to buy one, probably easy for you to buy one, but there are. My point is,
But my
there's
point
some
is,
obstacles.
I don't know. So if you could tell me, can anybody live a normal life without an ID? You can't get government benefits. You can't open a
Yes,
bank
but
account.
I wouldn't argue that. I agree with you completely.
So there's that argument goes out. So we all know anybody that is a contributing member to society, that is in our society, they already have an ID.
Yes, but we're living in a world now where now the term real American has come up. And some people have placed themselves in a position, they're trying to be in the position of deciding who is and who is not a real American. And part of the way that they're doing that is through the means of self-identification. I don't know where my birth certificate is, but I have a driver's license, a master's degree. I mean, just
Do you have your real ID yet? 'Cause that's the
I'm
next one.
not going to get a real ID. Well, actually, I will be. I don't know if I'm required. Oh, I'm thinking of ETIAS for international travel. If I
You
have
don't
to
need
get
one if you have a passport.
Yeah,
we have a passport, and when you say normal life, I mean I would love to be at home with my wife having a glass of beer, rather than this has become the norm. Although I would probably trade being out here on a cold day. I would gladly do that for this opportunity to talk to you, because it helps me get a little more clearer on where I am. I don't have the details of the data that you're asking for at hand, but I bet that if we sat down and looked at some things, I think we would probably be able to find things that support both of our positions. But subjectively, my concern is that things that support a MAGA position, they're of concern to me. Again, as a person of color, as an educator, Those are things that I worry about. And, you know,
And I get it, yeah. And
so
my opinion on is kind of why I do what I do.
yeah,
Is
it's
because
courageous. I think that's great that you do that.
I think it's more for I think a lot of people are misinformed. I don't think there's going to be
Agree with you
Absolutely.
100%.
100%.
Absolutely.
Well, and what was your name? And I'll give you a card before I leave.
Bob Matthews.
Bob,
Ellie.
Ellie,
my
Josh.
Josh.
And I'll give you a card before I leave. I got him in my
Please
car.
do.
All right,
Okay.
you guys have a good
All
one.
right, you
Thanks.
too.
Don't forget to vote.
Oh, I never do. We got Rob in the house. Roberto. So you can't usually have those. That's two in this week where we had some pretty good conversations where folks, again, don't just come up. I mean, that lady was automatically, because of what I was wearing originally, was saying that there's, you know, oh, you were being rude or anything else. No, I give in return what I get. I would place anybody that wants to talk on our podcast and give them all the airtime in the world. And that's why I asked him. That's why he said, you have video, you know where I can find video of people opening the doors on January 6th. Yeah. To think that people haven't seen that yet, that's my stupidity. I think everybody has seen that. That's my fault. That's where I need to get better, because once again, if you subject yourself to only one side of the news, I mean, people are turning in to Newsmax or Real America's Voice. They're not turning into any of that because, again, they call that MAGA. But, again, we're out here. It was about an hour drive from Dublin, California. You got the key?
Big one, Ed.
Huh?
I want to get the big one.
Hey, will you get my press pass in there too, so I can give him a card? So again, much different attitude here compared to most of them. I got to say that. I would love to go to these all day long with people that'll actually have a talk with you. There's some people you won't get through. There's some people, and again, we'll probably disagree on 90%. But when we talked about voter ID, and again, because they brought up DEI, they brought up the ID thing, they brought up all these things that, again, I am firm on my thing. I think election integrity is probably one of the biggest things that is pushing our future one way or another. And so they support a party and they're against the MAGA movement or the Republican Party, but when it comes to some of the things that their party stands the largest on, they, again, voter ID is racist. We hear about it, we've talked about it. I'll show you this sign one more time if you guys are just popping in. And it says, Tesla funds hate, and then look at all the Ukrainian flags over there. This is what they put up along the freeway here. This is the 101 freeway. Look at that. I don't get that. I don't understand why people want to support foreign countries. I don't care what country it is. I think it sends a really strong message and a clear message that we're going to put America last. So this protest is probably almost over. Should be about 8 more minutes. We made it here pretty quick, guys. And again, want to say thank you for your support getting us out here and just showing you what's going on. The Tesla guys are laughing right now. They're looking at us and they're thinking this MAGA guy's over here. I don't know if you can see them in the showroom, but they're they got a big grin when they looked at us, so that's cool. Make sure we can pass right here. Thank you. Let me set this down really quick. Oh yeah.
all the snow legality and everything else going on, so that just like this
Yeah, you know, they have some differences, but
just document all the crimes, all the war crimes, all the and publicize it. Because the media is all just like that size.
you know what I do.
Anyway, I just came for that, and I didn't even know. I heard about that all at once. Right, but I nobody can know that. Yeah. I parked way the hell out.
Okay, just having a quick combo really quick. The wind is picking up. We're getting that afternoon, evening winds. Yeah. Looks like. You guys have a good day. Stay safe out here.
There's our independent media for us.
Yep, absolutely, sir.
Trump 24, totally independent. Totally independent.
I'm not paid for by Big Pharma, sir. Oh, he was the triggered one.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Kill him with kindness, man. He was triggered. Oh, there's our independent media. I mean, literally, CNN wears a Biden badge 24/7, lies to the American people about Biden's health, lies about a cover-up, gets behind Kamala, and me coming out here just showing you guys with no edits, I'm not independent. Independent means independent from the mainstream, independent from everything else. Yeah, I was hoping this one would at least have 100 here. But you hit some, you miss some, at least we got 2 in. So much easier to talk to people when they don't get all crazy with you. The guys in Tesla are the guys in Tesla are waving at us. I love it. I love it. it's that one lady was, you came in being rude. I'm like, what? I've came in being rude before. I've told, I used to be really bad. I'd come for confrontation. I don't come for confrontation. If confrontation happens, it happens, but it's not going to be on my watch. Oh. Let's send this around. I'm going to read some of your guys' comments really quick. Yeah, but the dude, of course, with the white guy with the resist shirt on is the one that's always triggered.
Yep.
Those white people, man.
Yeah. Ladies, have a great day.
Take care. God bless you.
Sometimes it's hard being nice.
We are in Corte Madera. It's 61 degrees right now. Let me pull up. Okay, there you guys are. Oh, Karen, not yet, not yet.
How's it going?
Thanks for supporting us, guys.
All right, that was funny. Offering us a test drive right now.
Might go and use the restroom.
We'll hit somewhere because I want to hit somewhere too. You got Bullets and Barbecue in the house. Robert Benji, Texas Real Woman 2022. I will get the dance down, trust me. Yeah, no, that's the thing. Actually, they had a guy with Bill saying if Elon was so money hungry, he would shut down other EV manufacturers, then he would push to resume the mandates nationwide. Yeah, no, again, Elon, business-wise, strategic-wise, is so much better off under Democrat control. They are the ones that gave the incentives to buy Teslas. Oh, you have a federal rebate is what they call it. And then even California had a rebate on top of that. So you could have bought a $32,000 car, I believe it was, and you get $8,500 off right now. You were getting Teslas for like $22,000 brand new. That was, Republicans didn't want that. We didn't want to subsidize that. That was always Democrats. Jan Garner's in the house, Texas Bigfoot. So yeah, that was interesting. That was interesting. The thing that I will always have a problem with, this is just me. Why do you have all those Ukrainian flags out? Are you standing up for America? Are you standing up for American citizens? Or are you standing for other countries? And I am going to have that conversation with this guy. I would drive down all the way down here to have lunch and coffee with him just to go over some stuff. But it's just crazy. So they're pulling everything down. We'll go for a little drive. We got to find
food.
Yeah, we need food. And I want to say thank you to anybody that donated. If you bought a Rumble subscription, whatever you did, guys, I want to say thank you more than you know. We put this up here. Where'd my maps go? Start heading back to Central California, but that was interesting, huh?
Yeah.
See what direction it's gonna make us go.
Interesting how you even talked.
Oh, we're gonna go back
Simply.
over the bridge again. I like this way. Yeah, let's go this way. And then we'll stop in a little while, use the restroom. You know what? Let me get something out of the back really quick, guys. I think I got one left. They got the Central Marin police pulling up right now. It sounded like they called the police on me. are on us right when we got there.
Yeah.
Because you stay out of the road, because when the police come, I would bet you they're pretty strict over in this area about these folks blocking traffic and everything. They don't want that to start happening. I need to... Yeah, that guy right there, he's just triggered. He's
Rolling the
not,
best, huh?
yeah, he's not happy.
You guys didn't like this with the camera. I was like, hey. Way to go, bud.
That was so funny. Tesla came out. You guys want to test drive to anything? No time limit. That's epic. Yeah, they treated us really well in Fresno too, right when we got there. You guys want snacks? You guys want anything? Let us know. They're probably thinking, thank you for being on the right side of history. I would actually, I've thought about that, is taking one show a week, and I'd lose viewers, because there's some people on the right that just not, I mean, not the Oreo army, not the Oreo army. They like the construct. You can't platform them and put you on. Like, I would love one day a week to have somebody on the podcast that disagrees with me 100% and be like, here we go. The problem is we did it before in the past, and the other side just yelled, and I'd have to cut off the mic, and then it got pointless. Like, even when I was doing that stuff with Brandt, it's like, you don't get anything through when it's just yelling, and then, you know, when you can pull up actual files, like I said, there's been companies that have been sued for DEI and lost. A good one was or not even a company, but municipality, fire department, New York, a white guy who had the merits, everything involved to get a position, was overlooked because they wanted to meet a quota and hire a black person. Well, he sued and he won. So I don't think that black person got the job because they were deserving of it. And especially people, what I find funny is I'm not a big union guy, but I am a seniority guy. Like when I worked at my company, if there was a job open, they would give it to you if you had the merit based on seniority. So if me and Bob are equal, but I had 2 years on Bob, I would get the job. I believe in that. But by selecting somebody because of their race or their color, and that's why I brought up a good point about the White House. I mean, like, the whole White House under Biden was DEI.
You had people stealing luggage at airports.
Yeah, you guys are going to see this Richmond Bridge. I'm going to take you over it this time. You guys are going to like it. Pretty cool. We should go to... Yeah, I wasn't being, that lady said I was being, I can't even think of the word, but a smart ass pretty much. And I'm like, I was reading the signs. I was trying to be non-confrontational. I wasn't going up, oh, that's a lie. I was just reading the signs. And she said, oh, I was mocking them. I'm like, sweet, I wasn't mocking anybody. Trust me, you watch my videos. If I want to mock somebody, I know how. How'd that guy get through there right there? What was that for? He got off right there and right back on and got ahead of us. Yeah, the guy in Bakersfield I couldn't even have a conversation with because of some weirdo.
Damn.
Oh, a whole part of the rim.
Yeah.
That's not good. We're going to go by San Quentin, guys. San Quentin. Who's that guy in there, Scott? From Modesto, the guy that murdered his wife and baby.
Oh, Peterson.
Scott Peterson's in there. Do you know how much fan mail that guy gets?
Oh, yeah.
From women? I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
how? That's got to be a mental illness too. He murdered his wife and baby. The last thing you
Yeah.
should do is give him attention. He's working on an appeal right now. I can't remember the last thing I heard, but that's pretty cool. That bridge opens
yeah.
up, the drawbridge.
It's like stuck right there.
That thing probably hasn't worked in 100 years.
Yeah.
We're gonna go over this Richmond Bridge here, which is pretty big bridge. Now we're gonna be on the bottom side. I like to be on the top side just in case that earthquake happens.
Oh my god.
That way at least we have one more ground level to hit before it just completely
Yeah.
goes out. Good places to eat right here in this marina area. Not good price, but good places. See, and that's what it is. So you notice they are getting people out, like, again, these protests. These are, I wouldn't call them, I would say, yes, they're probably newcomers. A lot of them, especially when they bring up Social Security and Medicaid as their main reason coming out here. So they're not your typical, but once they, here's my question. Once they start seeing the destruction and how this summer of love 2025 is going to go, which I promise you it'll be a summer of love and we're going to be covering it, will they back away? Because again, they played stupid during Black Lives Matter. Well, all the Black Lives Matter people went home and the other people did that. Well, you're not condoning those other people for doing that. You're not condoning them for looting and robbing and murdering people. You're just going back out to another protest. I wonder if it's going to be the same thing all over again. And that lady that got in the street. You got a car? You don't have them on you? Like, like, lady, I already know from your attitude what you're like. Trust me. Beautiful area here though, right?
Yeah, it is.
This is epic. When we were leaving last night, we went by this place and we did find a bowl of clam chowder. Barely, huh?
Yeah.
They said, oh, sorry, we closed down the kitchen. I was like, even for clam chowder? And so we both got a cup of clam chowder. And then we were leaving, we pull out and there's all these bonfires on the beach. I'm like, man, when can I travel for fun? What's that out there?
Jet ski.
A jet ski.
No, it's a little sailboat.
It's a little sailboat.
That's cool. Oh, that's the prison right there.
Yes,
San Quentin.
that's San Quentin right there. Try to fly your drone over that. See what happens. I should write and see if they write Scott Peterson, see if he let me interview him. Yeah, he's fighting that big time.
I wonder what happened with the Menendez brothers' appeals.
There was an update on that. Look, I can't remember if the judge spoke on it yesterday or the day before. I think it was last night I seen it. I didn't read it though. You were snoring.
Was I?
Man, not that bad. I was out though last night once. Probably like 5 minutes after you went out, I rolled out. I locked. Didn't wake up once. It was one of those mornings when you wake up, you hit your alarm, and you're like, wait a second. You slept so long or so good, you don't even know where you're at.
Yeah.
Last Marin County exit. This one got my license renewed. Everything went perfect. I'm like, okay, bud. Okay. Again, these people think the government's efficient. When I said, so do you think the government's efficient? He couldn't answer me with a yes or no. He goes, well, it depends how you base efficient. I base it as if the same thing Apple bases efficiency on, Microsoft, the same thing Taco Bell. They don't have 4 extra employees getting paid at home in case they're needed.
Yeah.
They run lean. Look at this, guys. On the top, look how long this thing is. On the top, we've seen people walking up from one side to the other. It's got to be a pretty decent walk. But it is a beautiful day to walk. It's 61 with a nice breeze. That's the Golden Gate Bridge that way. Let me see. That's not. No, that's not Golden Gate Bridge. Look at how those clouds just hang over the skyscraper. See, like the guy that was interrupting, there's just some people, no matter how much proof you're going to give them, and I was talking to this with my sister the other night, no matter what comes out about, if Epstein ever does, which I don't think any of that stuff will come out, it's too deep, obviously, but when we get all this and we find out the FBI lied and they were traitorous, these people don't care about that. They care about their emotions. They don't care about facts. Now it's funny, you walking up with your Elon Musk sign.
Yeah, the one lady started talking to me. She's like, "Oh, never mind."
Yeah, never mind. I voted for Doge. I support Elon Musk. And that guy's like, "Well, when you went into companies and you worked with people that were cutting, what'd you do?" The same thing. All temporary employees were gone. All probationary employees gone. Because again, you're going off some seniority, so you're not going to, someone's been there for 8 years and knows a whole lot, you're not going to cut them first. remember where I live streamed last time, but it was nasty.
It looked like their industrial area.
What is that one? That's a Planned Parenthood bumper sticker, huh? You can always tell.
Yeah.
All our plants are solar powered.
I'm for Planned Parenthood.
I'm for Planned Parenthood, man. Imagine promoting that as you're driving down the street
Yeah.
that you just want to murder babies. There's your little place.
Yep. Got a nice view of the freeway.
Windows broken out.
Yep.
Who's gonna pull over here? I want to see something in this area. How California economy looks right now. I have not been over here, so I don't know what we're pulling into. I just want to see something because I've seen some stuff that looks interesting. And this is not the bad area of this area. I just want to. That's empty. That's empty. That one has something in the office. They're building something there. Wonder what that was. It's the whole complex.
They're going to it right now, I bet.
Look how overgrown everything is there. We'll pull over. Of course, when we pull off, that's when it starts. What is it? University of California at Berkeley. Oh, that's why. This looks like apocalyptic, huh?
Yeah. You ever seen weeds that tall? Look at that.
You guys look at
Probably
that.
10 foot tall. Wonder how many people.
Look at those weeds are 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
Wonder what that building is.
Just a building inside.
Wonder how they got in there. How you get in there? I'll make a right up here and see if that's it. Looks like it's all blocked off. Oh, that's crazy. That Bay Area machine right there.
Mhm.
I used to use them to repair hydraulics for a company I worked for. We'd ship our
Oh.
stuff over there. Let's go up ahead a little more and see. nice smog. There's some of your graffiti. Wonder what those are right there. Just little condos. Or their new low income projects they're putting up. I could not live like that, dude. Just stacked on top of each other. You ain't getting out.
No.
What's that right there? All these cars are parked on the side of the road. What is that, a stadium?
What's the line of cars? Big line
I wonder what's going on. Oh, it's for people wanting to go to the bay right there. Enjoy the water. On a beautiful sunny day here in Northern California. There's a horse track right there. Which one is it? East Bay, Golden. Golden Gate Fields. You hear that the fair's not going to be doing horse racing?
Why? Because of PETA?
Somewhat. Look at that one. That Tesla, they got a trans flag on the back.
Oh, shit. You don't hear much about PETA anymore. I've heard nothing actually.
You know, I heard something last week. They thanked somebody. I can't remember who they thanked. We used to love the PETA protests. Those people would go crazy. You think he did that so his car wouldn't get keyed?
Yep.
We should ask him why he's driving a Nazi car. The only way to do that is slam it. Yeah, that's exactly why they did that. 11 minutes of traffic. Yay!
There's that spot right there.
I wonder how we can get off there. Find the one that says downtown Oakland. Get all maggot out and go. Berkeley Marina, University of California, next exit. There's some nice fields right there, huh?
It is.
It's still live?
Yep.
Yes, it is. Easter tomorrow. Happy Resurrection Day Eve. Rachel went and bought a ham today. She's boiling the eggs right now. We're gonna color them tomorrow after church. Don't get scared. It'll pull out.
Almost feel like it's gonna break when you pull on that thing.
Actually, I got 2 of those, man. They wanted me to advertise for them, so they sent them to me for free on TikTok, and I never advertise for them, but they're a good product. I think for each one that sells, I'd get like $2. I just have a hard time. Like, they've offered me a lot of products on TikTok to sell, and I just gotta find that I'm so busy doing all the other stuff. What's that? Berkeley Commons.
That city? Treasure Island, San Francisco.
Yeah, but I think there's another. My daughter just texted me at her work. Ben Berquam's sister's at her work right now. Look at that. I wouldn't mind having that old Ford Galaxy.
Yep.
Get that thing. I would be mobbing that. Those are the things. I don't want airbags. I want steel around me. You know what I mean?
Yep. Tanks.
Yeah, they are. San Francisco downtown, 18 minutes. Too bad we didn't have another day.
Yeah.
Go down there and film all the druggies at night. Remember when me and Taco Joe were down there? Watch somebody get stabbed, and the Hondurans have one side. It's just crazy, but the Hondos went after this dude, just stabbed him, and I pulled out the camera and started recording, and there's literally a cop at a traffic stop, or traffic light, I would say 80 feet away. It was a group of them that went after this guy, circled him while they're stabbing him, and they all split. I don't think they ever arrested anybody for it, but we checked the news the next day, and that guy had died.
Dang.
And I literally recorded him going up to the cop, "Please help me, please." I was like, oh man.
Damn.
Happened like 60 feet from us right there. We were walking by, I was recording, and people are pulling out these And I'm not talking small bags. These big bags, opening them up, they have a zipper, they'd open them up and had all these different color pills. What you need, man? What you need? I got it. And cops just driving by. We gotta go 580 East Oakland. Oaktown.
There's only one on that car.
Yeah. Are you searching it, or is it a tire issue?
He has a hood open.
And the trunk. Maybe he has his tools in his trunk. Whoa, dude.
I'm late on this signal.
Yeah. It's alright, we need to get over this way. You know he's gonna do it twice. No In and Out in Oakland, you know that?
Nope. They closed up the only one they had. Last one.
Yeah. People were literally getting robbed in the drive-thru. Well, Democrats, what can you expect? Come on. Downtown Oakland.
My car insurance triples over here.
Yeah. The Mustang's on the move. We gotta show them some wokeism there. Look at that building. It says Black Lives Matter on the top of it for the freeway. Downtown Oakland, bye-bye. Mo's in the house. Getting ready to roll through your hood, huh? What's up, Mo Betta? Hayward and Stockton. Suspect in the back, huh? Window rolled down. Let me give you some fresh air before we lock you up. Speaking of that, I told this story before. What was it? Alameda County? Is that over here? Huh?
Yeah, I think that was Alameda.
Okay, yeah. So we go to an Oakland Raiders game. I'm managing this company, and the company we distributed for said, hey, we're doing this thing, and whatever Raider tickets to the game. And I already knew my store was going to beat all the other ones, so we ended up winning it. So it was a Raiders guys that worked for me. I said, all right, we're gonna go down there, you guys don't worry about nothing, I'll bring some beer for you guys, and I'll bring all the steaks, and we'll barbecue steaks. And we had shrimp and steaks. So we're out there barbecuing, and I had my fillet knife. It was a pretty long fillet knife too, and it was cold. And I have my Dallas Cowboys jacket on, and we're out there. Those Raiders fans are messing with me. We're just having a good time. You know how we like to have a good time. And so we get to go. We're going in, and they search you. And I didn't realize the inside jacket of my parka coat, my Cowboys coat, was where I put the knife. And so we eat. I literally have to be in charge of everything. So this is when I drank. I only have one beer out in the parking lot, and I was like, I'll have one more before the first half, and then I had to be, you know, be the good guy. So we get inside. I don't get a beer or anything. And then I reach into my pocket and I realize I have the knife. I'm like, oh man. Oh well, we're at a Raiders game. Could come in handy. And so I'm sitting there. And at the end of the first quarter, I go get a beer. And when I went to set it down in front of me, the knife fell out. And this dude seen. And it was in a sheath and everything. But this dude seen. I didn't know. I didn't care. So, I'm drinking my beer. I put the knife back in my pocket, and I was like, I tell the guys, I was like, hey, check this out. I'm gonna go to the restroom really quick. And one of the other guy goes, yeah, I gotta go too. So we get up. I get to the top of the stairs as we're walking out, and I get slammed up against the wall by police. I'm like, well, what's going on? Like, I had no clue what was going on. And so they, and this is Sunday. So they have another officer push me up while the other one's patting me down, and of course the knife was there. And it's not against the law to have a knife in California. It's not against the law. It might be against the rules of the stadium for things, but you're not breaking any laws. And they wanted me out of the stadium anyways because I was wearing cowboy stuff. It'd be like going into a Democrat function with your MAGA stuff on, right? And so I'm sitting there, and he goes, "What's this right here?" I said, "It's my knife. I was barbecuing out at tailgate." And he goes, "All right, come on, you're under arrest." They take me out, you know, and of course all the Raiders fans are loving this. Here's a guy in a Cowboys jersey, Cowboys jacket, getting hauled out. It's not even a Cowboys game, it was a Redskins game. And so they have this whole huge trailer set up on the side just to process people. And there's probably a line of 30 people there when I get there. And so they put me in the back of a paddy wagon, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't call Rachel, I can't call anybody, like, this is stupid. So they get me out of the back of the paddy wagon, and they put me in this line, and I got an officer on each side of me. And when I finally get up to the processing table, I'm not even lying, this female cop looks at me, and they set the knife down. She goes, "Ooh, looks like you're gonna be doing some big time in jail." And I'm like, wait a second, I know the law. You can carry a knife. I have a knife on me today, actually. I always carry a knife. And so I was like, for what? And she's like, well, you can't have, you know, she starts going off with all the, I want to call woke cop stuff. And I was like, whatever. So they get me, I'm handcuffed, they put me in the back of this paddy wagon. I'm sitting in the back of the paddy wagon for like 2 hours and they fill up the paddy wagon, and then they take me over to the jail. And I'm like, this is so stupid. And what's funny is you guys can't find this anywhere on my record, and there's a reason why. They didn't do anything. Again, it's against the law for them to do this. But, so, I go there, and I'm there, and the lady, the nurse, when you're in intake, the nurse is saying, said my last name, Fulfer. And I was like, yeah. Let me tell a story straight. So the officer says, I need you guys to stand right here. I don't want you to move. So I'm like with 6 dudes standing up against the wall, and there's a nurse in there. Ooh, I call this one of those evil nurses, man. You would rather die than have this nurse work on you, let me tell you. And she goes, Fulfer, and I was like, yeah. She goes, what are you on medications? And at the time I was on blood pressure medication. I said, yeah. And she goes, come here. I start walking across. Bam, I get tackled down by the cop. I told you not to move, knee in my back. And I'm like, dude, she just called me over there. I don't care, you listen to what I... And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm like, these people...
white privilege.
Yeah, no white privilege in Alameda County. And then so I go, finally, you know, I'm still handcuffed, but he's on me, like literally tackling me and stuff. And then he walks me over to the nurse. I tell the nurse, and then about 20 minutes later, they put me in a cell. Just a holding cell. And I called my sister first, and I was like, dude, I had some choice words I won't say about those cops. I'm like, these guys are punks. They got me in here. They're saying it's for my knife. And so I don't know what's going to happen. Like, call Rachel, let her know what's going on. And she's like, well, where's your truck? And I was like, my truck is at the stadium, Coliseum. And she's like, oh man. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, well, do you want me to start coming down there? And I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna need you to come down here because I'm gonna need to be picked up. I don't know when I'm getting out. So a couple hours go by, and a semi-decent sheriff comes in there, and they're like, hey, so you're gonna get processed right now, and you'll get your things, and you'll get out. This is about 1 in the morning. So I pick up the phone, I call Rachel, say, hey, where you at? She's on the freeway. It's about, again, almost a 3.5, 4 hour drive from home. And I said, well, they said they're gonna release me. And I said, I'll call you back to make sure you're outside the jail. So I call her back about an hour and a half later, and she's like, yeah, we're waiting out here. And I was like, okay, cool. They pull me out of the cell. They hand me a little plastic baggie with my wallet and all my stuff, with my knife, with my sheath. No charges, no record of me ever being in that jail. Like, I've tried to pull it to find it. And I walk outside, get in the vehicle, or get in Rachel's car. We head over to the stadium. The whole stadium is locked up. I'm like, oh man, there's a number. It is like 4:30 in the morning, and there's a number on there. And I'm like, this ain't gonna work. I call. A dude picks up the phone. And I go, yeah, hey, I was arrested at the game yesterday, and I'm trying to get in. He goes, oh, that's your truck? And I was like, yeah. He goes, oh, I got a tow truck on the way. And I was like, he's like, what gate are you at? And I was like, I don't know. It says, whatever gate number it was. He goes, all right, I'll be right there. And this dude comes riding up in a golf cart, opens the gate. We go in there. I pick up my truck. I'm flying, doing like 95 all the way home. Get home, like run through the shower, and still got to work on time. But yeah, I was like, man, some fishy stuff goes on. But that, again, like, it wasn't a felony, it wasn't a misdemeanor, I didn't break any laws. I might have broke the rules of the stadium.
Yeah.
But it was more of the fact they didn't want me in there in my cowboy stuff because they were worried it would incite somebody to cause problems.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely the opposite. It was one of the times where these Raiders fans were loving on me. You'd walk into the bathroom, oh, shoot, check out this dude, what's up? You know, they were having a good time drinking. The guys that worked for me all gave me a hard time for about a month. We're going to tell corporate. I was like, I don't care. I've already told corporate. I called my boss in Sacramento. I was like, hey, you want to hear something interesting? Wasn't like I did anything actually wrong. He laughed about it. But it was a pretty cool company. My boss, other than micromanaging, he was a real good conservative. The owners were real good conservatives. The first time so this company was based out of Sacramento. The first time I think I ever went to a political protest was with the owner and my boss. I can't remember, it had to do with Obamacare or something like that. It was 20-something years ago, so it was before Obama, but it was something going on in the state capitol. And we all drove over to the state capitol because it was like literally an 8-minute drive from our company headquarters, and we all sat there, take a look at the protest, and then went to lunch. Still got that knife. I use it all the time. I can't find the sheath for it. But yeah, that cop tried to beat the you-know-what out of me for no reason. Literally, I was following what they were saying. I wasn't in there trying. I ain't, let me speak to your supervisor. I'm like, you know what, this will be over in a while. And I was pissed off because that's when I drank. And so I'm sitting there pissed off thinking, I should have just got really drunk today because then I could sleep in here. I was just amazed I went through all that and still drove home 3.5 hours and made it to work on time.
Yeah.
Red Wave says, who all has spent a night in jail? cops, there's bad cops, there's again, there's entire police forces that are just trash. They, especially when they're dictated by a leftist Democrat mayor. You guys have watched with us. We've watched people get their ass beat right in front of a cop and nothing happened. The cops just stand there. Oh, well, we got, you know, with their stand down orders. Sacramento is a prime example of that. Oh, deer crossing next 6 miles. Oh dear. We don't have a whole lot of deer in California like you guys do. Like Maryland and all those other places. Even Texas. I did see some deer down in Jacumba when I was down there.
Pretty cool seeing that. The border pig.
Oh yeah, it's still there too.
Middle of the desert, you see a pig just roaming around.
What'd you have for breakfast? Did we tell them already?
Nope.
We had pozole for breakfast. It was good too. Always find those little hole in the walls, huh?
Yep. Usually those are the best. That's the best food. The hole in the wall places.
Yeah.
I think they're more of a dinner place. Rodeo Park.
Rodeo Park. We got the rodeo next weekend. The rodeo parade next weekend. Every time I've gone through here, it's always been about this crowded. I mean, I've had to wait in major traffic, but always slow through here. You think they would fix things?
This was slow on the way up here.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's where we were at. There's where your buddy went through the fence. Cheesecake Factory for a while. Haven't ate at BJ's in a while. I haven't ate at Lazy Dog in a while. I haven't eaten a lot of those places for a while.
That's some good old McDonald's.
No, won't do it. And there is nothing there that's not high in carbs.
First time in a couple of years I went there, probably a couple of weeks ago. That's not very good.
You know, occasionally when I'm in a hurry, I will get their breakfast burritos. Their egg and sausage burrito. Get 2 of those.
Sounds like a Jack in the Box taco.
Yeah, now that's that's another thing Amber really likes. Every tornado and Jack in the Box tacos.
suggest your route. Is that the one you're looking for?
Yep.
Getting directions to In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah, buddy.
Look at that Model Y right there. I don't like Model Ys. I think they look like an egg. I know they're comfortable and they're nice cars, but I just can't get over that.
What about the Model X? Bigger ones.
I'd have to see it right now.
Where the doors come up.
Oh yeah, nah, not a big fan of those either. I'll take the S Plaid.
Yeah, I like the S-Type.
I'll take the S Plaid any day. I think Elon should gift me one for protecting his Dublin warehouse this morning. Damn, 1.3 miles is gonna take 7 minutes. It's not even gonna be 1.3 miles. It's gonna be one by the time we get off this traffic.
There's no way it's gonna take 6 minutes.
If we get up here and it's
Be half a mile by the time we get off.
there it is. In and out. That's what a
Dang, we're busy.
Of course, in and out, bud. That's why we put the old Trump cowboy hat on and we just say, how y'all doing? Giddy up. Please help. I wonder, please help with what?
Maybe the construction area?
Yeah, I guess so. That's what it says. Please help on that sign. They've deported everybody. They need some help now. Why are these people not turning? A straight hand turn. I hate when they do this. What's around here? Look at that. $5.29 a gallon for gas, guys. Did you guys see that? Not sure if you guys can see that over there. $5.29. Kick back, check out some X stuff, unwind on some social media while we're having dinner, and then hit the road again.
It's about time, shit.
No need to cuss over a stoplight, Robert. We're trying to work on that here. Oh, I've been to this one before now that...
Which ones in California have you not been to?
I know. I thought she was...
This will probably be shorter.
Is she barefoot? No, I thought she was barefoot. I'm like, what the... Got the Chick-fil-A. Filet mignon. All right, guys, check it out. We will probably go live for a drive and chat, hang out with you guys here in a little while, unless anything else pops off. But we're gonna get some food right now, check some social media. Want to say thank you for you guys riding along. Thank you for any support. If you do want to help us out, we are viewer funded. All you have to do is go to Venmo at Oreo Josh, Cash App, $ Oreo Army, or givesendgo.com/Oreo 2024 for gas, food, and lodging. We thank you guys. We will see you soon. Take care.